$98,000. That's the combined value of three Liberty Washington quarters that most people would never look at twice. One has sold for $25,000, another for $35,000, and the most shocking example reaches $38,000. The mystery is that these coins don't stand out in your pocket change. So how do collectors spot them before everyone else misses them? The first clue starts with a 1988 quarter that turned an ordinary coin into a $55,000 discovery. A Pennsylvania collector once passed on a small group of Washington quarters because they looked too ordinary. A few weeks later, one of those same coins appeared in a certified holder and carried an estimated value of $25,000. The coin was not made of gold. It was not ancient. It was a modern Liberty Washington quarter dollar struck in 1988 with a P mint mark. And that raises an interesting question. How many people have handled this exact date without realizing what they were looking at? The 1988 P Washington quarter was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. That small letter P is more important than many people realize. For years, collectors focused heavily on older silver quarters, leaving many modern issues overlooked. But as grading standards became stricter and collector demand increased, certain modern quarters started attracting serious attention. Suddenly, coins that once seemed common began showing up in auctions with surprising price tags. Back in 1988, the United States was experiencing a period of economic growth, and Washington quarters were everywhere. Millions of Americans carried them in their pockets, spent them in vending machines, and tossed them into jars without a second thought. Nobody was carefully preserving most of these coins. That fact becomes extremely important today. Think about it for a moment. If millions were produced, why would one be worth $25,000? The answer begins with condition. Most 1988 P quarters entered circulation immediately. They picked up scratches, contact marks, dull surfaces, and worn details. Finding one today is easy. Finding one with exceptional eye appeal is a completely different story. Collectors pay enormous premiums for coins that appear almost exactly as they left the mint. Sharp details in Washington's hair, strong feather definition on the eagle, clean fields, brilliant luster, and minimal marks can transform an ordinary quarter into a highly desirable collectible. But condition alone is not the entire story. Many collectors spend years searching through rolls looking for unusual traits that most people never notice. One of the most talked about possibilities involves double die characteristics. On certain coins, design elements can appear slightly doubled because of the way the die was prepared. Sometimes the effect is obvious. Other times it requires magnification and a trained eye. The challenge is that many people may have seen such details and assumed they were damage. Then there are die cracks. A die crack occurs when the minting die develops a fracture and transfers that raised line onto the coin. Some collectors actively hunt for these because they create unique appearances. A dramatic die crack can make one coin stand out from thousands of others. Another trait that sparks excitement is strike quality. Not every coin leaves the press with the same strength. Some receive exceptionally sharp strikes that bring out details often missing on average examples. Advanced collectors notice these differences immediately. To most people, two quarters may look identical. To specialists, one can be dramatically superior. And there is another question many viewers should be asking right now. What if a quarter sitting in a drawer, coin album, or old bank envelope has never been examined closely? That possibility keeps collectors searching. Grading plays a massive role in determining value. Professional grading services evaluate preservation, surface quality, strike, luster, and overall eye appeal. A tiny difference in grade can create a huge difference in price. A coin that looks impressive to the average person might still fall short of the highest certified levels. On the other hand, an overlooked coin can sometimes surprise everyone when it receives an elite grade. This is why collectors become obsessed with originality. Original surfaces often command stronger interest than coins that have been cleaned or altered. Natural luster, untouched color, and authentic appearance can make a coin far more attractive in the marketplace. And here's where the mystery deepens. Many people assume valuable coins must look unusual. Yet some of the most desirable modern quarters appear completely normal at first glance. The clues are subtle. The differences are small. The rewards can be enormous. Some collectors search bankrolls for years hoping to find that one exceptional example. Others discover them in inherited collections that sat untouched for decades. Every time a 1988 P quarter appears, the same question returns. Is this just another common coin? Or is it one of the rare survivors that collectors dream about? As surprising as this quarter can be, the next coin in this documentary takes the mystery even further. Its story becomes harder to explain. Its appeal becomes even stronger, and the reason collectors chase it has left many people completely stunned. So before you check out, wait until you see what comes next. The investigation started with a simple question that nobody seemed able to answer. Why would one 1985 P Washington quarter sell for little, more than face value, while another example from the same year attracts attention from serious collectors and reaches values as high as $35,000? At first glance, the mystery makes no sense. Both coins were struck in 1985. Both carry the same Philadelphia mint mark. Both look nearly identical to the average person. Yet somewhere between those two coins lies a difference, large enough to change everything. That difference is exactly what collectors have spent years trying to uncover. The 1985 P. Liberty Washington quarter dollar came from the Philadelphia mint during a decade when most Americans viewed quarters as nothing more than pocket change. The coin circulated through grocery stores, gas stations, restaurants, and banks across the country. Millions of people handled them daily without paying attention to the tiny details that collectors obsess over today. And that creates the first clue. Because these coins were considered ordinary, very few people made any effort to preserve them. Most entered circulation immediately. They bounced against other coins, picked up scratches, lost their original shine, and slowly deteriorated over time. So while the overall mintage may seem large, the number of truly exceptional survivors is far smaller than most people imagine. Now look closely at the mint mark. That small P beneath the date tells us the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. To non-collectors, it might seem insignificant. To experienced numismatists, it acts like a fingerprint. It identifies where the coin was struck and opens the door to studying strike quality, die varieties, and production characteristics specific to that facility. But the story gets stranger. Some collectors became fascinated with certain 1985 P quarters because they displayed unusually strong strikes. Details that normally appeared soft suddenly looked sharp and fully defined. Washington's portrait showed stronger detail. The eagle on the reverse appeared more complete. The coin seemed different, even though it technically came from the same production run. Why? That question led many collectors into a deeper search. One characteristic that receives attention is doubling. Certain examples display signs of doubled design elements created during die preparation. These varieties are often subtle enough to escape casual inspection, yet they can generate tremendous excitement among specialists. Then there are die cracks. A die crack can leave raised lines across portions of the design, creating a distinctive appearance that separates one coin from countless others. Some collectors actively hunt these pieces because every die crack tells a unique production story. Another intriguing possibility involves die chips and cuds. These occur when small portions of a die break away, leaving raised metal in unexpected areas of the finished coin. To someone unfamiliar with mint errors, these features may look strange or even like damage. To an experienced collector, they can become an important clue. And here's where the investigation becomes personal. How many people have a jar of old quarters tucked away in a closet? How many inherited collections remain untouched in drawers and safe deposit boxes? How many 1985 P quarters have never been examined under proper lighting? Nobody knows. That uncertainty fuels the hunt. Professional grading adds another layer to the mystery. A quarter that appears impressive at first glance may receive a respectable grade, but nothing extraordinary. Yet occasionally, a coin emerges with nearly flawless surfaces, booming luster, exceptional eye appeal, and razor-sharp details. Those are the examples that command serious attention. Collectors often describe this difference as the gap between common and elite. The ordinary examples are everywhere. The elite examples are where the real competition begins. In fact, some collectors spend years searching bankrolls, hoping to find one extraordinary coin hiding among hundreds of ordinary pieces. Most searches end without success, but every once in a while, someone discovers a quarter that changes the entire equation. That possibility keeps the market alive. The fascinating part is that many valuable examples don't immediately announce themselves. They don't glow. They don't look dramatically different from across the room. Their secrets reveal themselves only after careful examination, magnification, and expert evaluation. And if you think this investigation has already uncovered the biggest surprise, think again. Because the next coin takes everything you've heard so far and pushes it to another level entirely. Its story is more shocking, its appeal is stronger, and the reason collectors chase it has turned an ordinary-looking quarter into the ultimate prize. Missing the final coin would mean missing the most unbelievable discovery. In this entire documentary, the room went silent when the bidding crossed a level nobody expected. Experienced collectors were still raising their paddles. Dealers who had spent decades in the hobby were watching closely. The coin at the center of the battle was not a rare gold piece or a centuries-old treasure. It was a 1982 D Liberty Washington quarter dollar. And that is exactly why the story became so fascinating. For most people, a 1982 quarter is the definition of ordinary pocket change. Millions pass through cash registers, vending machines, and bank counters. Yet among serious collectors, certain elite examples have earned an almost legendary reputation. The challenge is not finding a 1982 D quarter. The challenge is finding one that stands far above the rest. That distinction has created one of the most intriguing modern coin hunts in American numismatics. The year 1982 occupied a unique place in United States history. The country was emerging from a difficult economic period. Inflation remained a major topic, and Americans were focused on the future. During that time, the Denver Mint continued producing Washington quarters for circulation. Each received a small D mint mark, a simple letter that identified its birthplace. At first glance, the D seems insignificant, but collectors know better. That tiny mint mark immediately separates the coin from Philadelphia and San Francisco issues. It becomes the starting point for identifying strike characteristics, varieties, and condition rarities that have made certain 1982 D quarters highly desirable. Here is where the mystery deepens. Why would elite collectors compete so aggressively for a coin that nearly everyone has seen? The answer lies in survival. Most 1982 D quarters entered circulation and stayed there for years. They accumulated scratches, contact marks, wear, discoloration, and damage. Very few escaped that fate. Even fewer retained blazing original luster and exceptional eye appeal. As a result, the population of truly elite examples became surprisingly small, and that is where collector competition begins. One factor experts examine closely is strike quality. Many 1982 D quarters show average striking characteristics. But every so often, a coin appears with remarkable sharpness. Washington's portrait displays stronger details. The eagle appears more defined. The entire coin seems more vibrant and alive. Collectors notice those differences immediately. Then come the premium-level varieties and mint traits that add another layer of excitement. One of the most sought-after possibilities involves double die characteristics. Under magnification, certain design elements may reveal subtle doubling created during die production. These discoveries often transform an ordinary search into an unforgettable find. Another prized trait is significant die cracking. While minor cracks are relatively common in coin collecting, dramatic examples can create distinctive raised features that collectors actively pursue. A third characteristic involves die chips and retained cuds. These unusual production anomalies can leave unexpected raised areas on the coin, creating visual signatures that make one example stand out from thousands of others. But even those features do not guarantee extraordinary value. Condition remains king. Professional grading services evaluate every detail. Surface preservation, luster, strike, eye, appeal, originality. A tiny difference in quality can separate a common collectible from a coin that generates intense market attention. Imagine opening an inherited collection. Imagine finding an old envelope filled with quarters saved decades ago. Imagine spotting a 1982 D and wondering whether it might be different. That possibility keeps collectors searching through rolls, jars, albums, and forgotten boxes every single day. Some spend years looking for the perfect example. Others discover one completely by accident. And that unpredictability is part of what makes this coin so captivating. Auction records show that when elite-grade modern quarters appear, competition can become fierce. Collectors understand that opportunities are limited. If a truly exceptional specimen reaches the market, there may not be another comparable example available anytime soon. That urgency fuels the bidding. It fuels the research. It fuels the obsession. And after everything we've explored in this documentary, from the surprising 1988 P quarter to the mysterious 1985 P issue, it all leads here. The 1982 D Liberty Washington quarter. Dollar stands as the ultimate discovery of this journey, with top examples reaching an astonishing value of $38,000. Not because every 1982 D quarter is rare, not because every example is valuable, but because extraordinary coins often hide inside ordinary places. That may be the most important lesson in coin collecting. Hidden treasures still exist. They sit in collections, coin jars, desk drawers, bank rolls, and forgotten boxes across America. Most people will never notice them. A few will, and the next great discovery could be waiting in a handful of change that someone almost spent without a second thought.